Hello and welcome to another Zach Carnage video, and today we are doing a YCS London format duel. So this is based on the upcoming format and the decks that we expect to be hanging around. So we're doing Invoked Thunder Dragons versus Altergeist. So Soul Fusion will be out by the time that this event takes place. So we're going to be seeing this Invoked list based largely on the MST.TV version. So go ahead and check out their video for the in-depth information with that. But there's some interesting text in here, putting in the Skystriker engine just to enable that kind of semi-OTK possibility that you can have lined up with Alistair the Invoker. One of the issues I will say for this deck is you're running a lot of cards that don't really do anything because there are so many Thunder Dragon names. So if you just open cards like that, then you can struggle a bit, but the Invoked engine itself is very consistent. As for the Altergeist deck, this is largely based on ones that we've seen in the Altergeist Duel List Facebook group, so head over there to check it out if you're interested in some of the comments that people have from there. And this is the list. Most of the extra deck is just Cherry's targets ready for the modern format, and the main deck is fairly standard, to be honest, taking in those rivalries over anti-spells because you're going to be facing against more rogue than Skystriker pure versions. So that's it for the list, then onto the games. So heading into game one, I'm going to be on the left hand side with the Invoked Thunder Dragons. Jason will be on the right hand side with Altergeist, and he has won the die roll, so he's going to be starting off, but his hand is kind of mediocre. He just normal summons a Silk and sets 3 to pass. During the standby phase, he's not going to be doing anything, so I start off with a Terraforming, adding Meltdown, and then using Meltdown to go into Alistair. So we are proxying a few cards at the moment. Specifically in my deck I'm proxying Alistair's with the Manos and Purgatorio and a few of the Invoked fusions, but he's going to protocol the Mano, meaning that I can't get the ad. So although the engine is very consistent, it does use up your normal summon, and from there it can be kind of difficult to establish anything on the board. So my hand is kind of full with Thunder Dragons. I'm just going to set one at this point, but Jason has a manifestation for the Silk. He's then going to consider returning a card in order to return the set. He thinks he can return the manifestation and keep the Silk around, but actually you need the manifestation to be activated while Silk is on the field if you want to do that, so he's just going to return Protocol instead. It doesn't really make a big difference. Then normal summons the Marionetta, getting him that extra resource. So he goes for a second copy of Manifestation here. Puts them both into attack so that he can get some damage on board. The life point counter is a little bit dim at this point. We will be brightening it just now. There you go. So you can check out the life points throughout the game. And then before, I think he wants to end, but he's actually just going to go for the Hextia summon here, which will allow him to get back that resource with the manifestation from the effect of Silk if he wants to. And that's the manifestation that he set before, so during my standby phase, he's going to use that I Will Chain Call by the Grave to take out the Silkatus, which he was going to go for. So you won't have that disrupt. As the trap does not equip to anything, it gets sent to the grave at the end of the chain. And then during my turn I'm going to normal summon an Origin Thunder Dragon, because I have a second Origin in hand, which I'm considering making live, but instead I just go for the Thunder, adding another Thunder, and then I can turn the Origin into a Super Bolt. This is probably one of the best things for the deck. You can just make a really big monster out of nothing, basically, but he does have a strike for it, unfortunately, negating that summon. Because the Origin was sent to the graveyard, I will get to search from it, so I just add that to my hand. And then I don't have any more plays here. Too many Thunder Dragons after you've used up your normal summon really doesn't amount to much. So I'm just going to have to pass at this point. He's going to bring out the Protocol. He has the Multi-Faker at this point, and that's going to give him a whole bunch of resources, so he gets out a Meliseek here. I believe that all happens during my end phase, so he will get the search with Meliseek, and then goes for the Marionetta. And at that point I'm just going to scoop because he has way too many resources available. So heading into Game 2, we will have had access to those side decks which we showed you in the start of the video. and I'll be taking the start of this game. I've actually opened up the fairly typical OTK/good turn 1 board combo of Goldstark with a way into Alistair. So I start with Goldstark on the Bestial, but Jason then reading the Bestial is going to play an Ash, so I don't get the summon of Thunderbolt from there. And that really breaks down the play, because I don't have any light monsters that I can go into for Macabre, so I melt down into Alistair and then I just set one. Jason goes to normal summon the Silcatus, so he dropped me in the last turn, which is why I couldn't add a thing off the Alistair there. The normal summon of Silcatus is pretty hefty actually, to be honest, because it means that he's going to be able to return my resource to the hand, make things a little bit more difficult for me. But then during my turn I'm going to normal summon Denko Sekka, shut off his back row, and add that invocation off the Alistair. I then have the ability to just swing in, but I decide that I may as well go for the fusion summon at this point. I'm just debating whether or not I want to make it. To be honest, Macabre would be a much better option at this point, but I don't have an extra light target apart from the Denko, and the Denko is putting in a lot of work here, shutting down his traps. So instead I go for the Purgatrio, just having that extra resource with the Alistair returned back to the hand for next turn's plays, and then Purgatrio can attack in. It's currently on 27 when it does damage. And then the Denko can also attack in. And there's nothing really to fear as soon as you bring out a Denko Sekka versus Altergeist. They can't continue to set up their plays, and they can't trigger their multi-faker either. So Jason just has to pass, and then I'm able to put on another Alistair and attack with enough damage to take the game. So that will take us into Game 3. So for the final game of the match, this is actually going to be a pretty quick one. Jason starts off with a duality, taking a multi-faker there, I believe. And then he sets, I think he sets 1, 2, does he set that one? Yeah, sets 3. That's likely to be quite problematic for me. My hand is actually, I believe it's Called by the Grave, a bunch of Thunder Dragon cards and an invocation. So I can't actually use the invocation without an Alistair. So I attempt to see if I can trigger a few or 3 things. So I put a Thunder Dragon down to get a Thunder Dragon. I actually have 2 Thunder Dragons in hand at the moment. I couldn't even add 2 off the first one. I then have a Twisters to deal with 2 back rows so that I can force out the Faker. But I don't believe any of the cards in my hand is a normal summon that I can use to deal with it. So he's going to flip Protocol, lose a Rivalry of Warlords, but get a Faker, and that'll give him an extra resource. And there's really nothing in my hand that I can use to take out his board, so I just set 1 card, I believe it's the invocation, and then he returns it to hand, and I have nothing here. He's going to have the ability to take out all of my life points and set up a good board within the next couple of turns. So I just scoop at this point, and Altergeist takes victory here over Invoked Thunder Dragons. Let us know what you think of each of the builds and the plays that we've made. Are there any changes that you'd make to the deck lists themselves, or the actions that we took? Then let us know in the comment section down below. Also, if we made any mistakes, be sure to let us know about those too. It's good to get up to speed with any changes that we should have made to the video, or keep people informed when they are watching these videos. Thanks for watching this video. If you've got any comments or suggestions about future videos that we should make, then leave them in the comment sections down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.